It's another Waiting for Next Year podcast brought to you by the Evergreen Podcast Network. Once again, it's Josh and Joe, this time to recap the Browns' loss to the Chiefs in Kansas City. They're 120-1 in season opener since their return in 1999?
Yeah, only one win.
But this time, Joe and I will talk about this. We'll get into it. But for the first time, I know everyone's going to say, oh, man, it's all about moral victories and it's all about showing promise. But I'm actually excited about what the Browns did today, even though they lost. How about you, Joe?
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, they lost because of mistakes. There's no other way to say. But the talent was even on both sides. You could tell both teams were one of the top teams in the league, and they showed it. I'm more excited coming out of this game than like a win, like maybe early last season. So it's really impressive what they showed early on. Just the things they can build on, things they can improve on, and hey, they were right there with the AFC champions, and that's all you can ask for in week one.
Yeah.
I
mean, even without even looking at film or going deep dive into the stats, you can say, one, they got outscored 23-7 in the second half. That's inexcusable. Even in Kansas City, if it was like a playoff game, like a must-win, that is absolutely inexcusable. That can't happen. Two, self-inflicted mistakes. You had the punt, or it wasn't even a punt, even though you should have punted it. The Scottish Hammer somehow dropping that snap.
That was awful.
Over panicking, and then thinking that he can outrun the. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah,
like he overpanicked. Like usually punters pick up the ball and then at least try to punt it, and then it gets blocked. He didn't even try to punt it. He literally just picked it up and said, "I'm running." It's 4th and 13. I was
right,
like, "What
and
are you doing?"
He had time too.
He definitely had time.
Like there was there was nowhere. Like he had room to run, and so he clearly had room to punt the ball. He clearly.
I don't know why he over panicked.
Yeah.
It was like a rookie mistake, even though he's not out. I love for someone. I'm sure he won't really speak to the media, but I'd love for someone to ask him why he over panicked. I don't.
Yeah.
So we had that one, and then we had Nick Chubb's fumble. Nick Chubb never freaking fumbles the ball, and he decided to fumble. And then, Baker Mayfield's interception to end the game, basically, which me and you both agreed. We talked prior to the podcast that I think he was trying to throw it out of bounds, and he got tripped up, and it was mid-throw when he got tripped up. So as he was falling, he still threw it, and it was a tiny bit short from out of bounds.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it was perfect timing by that hit. It's just like when you trip, your arm just goes a little bit shorter, and it just wound up right in the guy's hands. That interception, we'll talk about Baker later on, but yeah, I just throw that away and move on that one. There's so many other mistakes by the fumble and then the punt that cost the game, not that play.
The punt that wasn't, because it literally wasn't. I wish it was a punt. I really wish it was.
The 3-yard loss or whatever. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, but the Browns just went into Kansas City, went into Arrowhead Stadium, season opener. The whole country, the whole National Football League watching on national television, and they should have won the game. And I know it's easy to say they showed plenty of promise, just like I said, but to keep it close, they basically that first half offensively feed that into my veins and just have that be the entire game one of these times, because you couldn't have asked for a better first half offensively.
Yeah, but that was the best Baker we've ever seen. I really truly believe his just confidence in the offense, and then his accuracy, and just he knew where the ball should go, and he got it there, and it was really impressive. He showed it pretty much the whole game. Maybe a little bit late at the end of the game, he kind of panicked a little bit on a few things, but this was one of the best games of his career, and it just shows how much confidence he has in this offense, how comfortable he is, and I just can't wait to see him just develop even more during the season. If this is week 1, I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, week 1 at Kansas City, and without, I won't even say Odell Beckham's the best receiver in the Browns because he hasn't played in almost a year. But without a talent like OBJ, where even if he's not catching the ball, he still has plenty of eyes from the defense.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very excited about this offense. And like I said, it's so tough. I know the Browns haven't won a season opener since 2004. That's well known. But the things they showed today and almost winning, if it wasn't for self-inflicted mistakes, they win that game and they're 1-0. And Browns fans are probably parading. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I told myself,
go ahead.
Go. Okay. I told myself I wouldn't overreact game 1, win or lose, blowout or not. I probably would have overreacted if it was a blowout either way, though. But yeah, I'm not overreacting. It's just 1 week. It's 1 loss. They should probably win like the next 3 or 4, if we're being honest. And I just think Kevin Stefanski, his aggressive play calling early in the game in the first quarter, I think we can take a lot from that. He went for it twice on 4th down. They got both of them. He went for a 2-point conversion after there was an offsides call on the extra point, which how do you go offsides on the extra point? Seriously. But yeah, from Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield, and even the running backs, the wide receivers, everything in the first half, probably the best Browns half offensively I've seen in my lifetime, to be honest.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. Yeah, it was a complete game too. The offense ran the ball and passed the ball just efficiently and effectively. They didn't make mistakes in the first half. It was really good. Stefanski drew up some amazing plays to get open receivers, open run game. It was fun to watch. Quite frankly, it continued in the second half up until just kind of the end of the third quarter, and it just came down to mistakes, and it showed these teams they're equals, but one team is more mature and they're more experienced in these situations. They didn't make any mistakes. The Kansas City, they had no like interceptions, no near interceptions, no fumbles, nothing. They were the cleaner teams, and that's what comes down to when both teams are equally talented. It comes down to those small things, those big mistakes, and all that like that. And one team was more ready to go, and it just shows that we're getting there. We're the talent level is equal now. We just gotta get more experience and just get better at the small things.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you said, in order to take the Browns from a good team to a great team like the Chiefs, it's the small things, like you said. It's the turnovers. It's the not converting a 3rd down when they should have, or not seeing an open receiver. It's just the small things, which Patrick Mahomes and company, they not only have the experience, like you mentioned, but they also did all the small things today, which, I mean, I guess when you have Travis Kelce, when you have the best tight end in football and the second fastest player, because Anthony Schwartz is the fastest player in the NFL, and we'll talk about him later. When you have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, I guess it's kind of easy to not make mistakes, even if it's not Patrick Mahomes. But then when you combine that with the best quarterback in the NFL, I mean, there's only so much. I know it's easy to say, how are the Browns leaving the tight end wide open? But if you're so focused on Tyreek Hill, it's bound to happen. And then if you focus on Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill will beat you deep. I mean, it's literally the Chiefs offense is like the perfect combination that every team wants. And then when you have the best quarterback in the NFL, it's just like, what are you going to do? You have to play perfect offensively for four quarters.
Right.
Basically.
And that was the success in the first half. The Browns didn't stop them, really. They held them to a field goal, but the offense was on the field so long and was moving the ball successfully that it was great defense by them. That's literally the only way, and hope for maybe a mistake by Mahomes, but the literally only way of defending them is with good offense, and we showed that in the first half. So something to build on, and hopefully for a rematch in the playoffs, we'll see them improve on that.
Man, I'd love to see Browns Chiefs in Cleveland.
Oh, I know. Can we
We
get
won't
out
talk.
of Kansas City?
We won't talk about this anymore. We don't want to jinx anything.
Yeah.
But imagine that type of game in freaking First Energy Stadium. And
Yeah.
speaking of the perfect offense, it's very cliche to say that in order to beat Kansas City, you have to outscore them, but you literally do. You have to not only be aggressive, like the field goals aren't going to win you games in Kansas City. So you have to be aggressive like Stefanski. You have to execute like the Browns did in the first half. And then you just can't make mistakes like the Browns did in the second half. And they still only lost by 4. That's the thing.
Right.
I'm like, I'm super happy, even though the Browns are 0-1.
Yeah. There's so much like in the past, how many things we could take from a loss. Not much. We can take a lot from this loss in a positive way. There's a lot of great signs that we saw. And it just, I really am more excited after this loss for the rest of the season than I did coming in. It's just the way that offense looked and how Stefanski expanded the offense vertically and all that. It was fun to see, and I can't wait for OBJ to be added back. Hopefully, Jedrick is not too injured there, and he gets back. And I can't wait to see the whole offense together. It's going to be exciting, man.
Yeah, hopefully Jedrick Wills isn't.
Yes.
Hopefully it's just a rolled ankle. If he misses a couple weeks, honestly, it's not that big of a deal because they have Chris Hubbard and the opponents that they're going against the next couple weeks.
Just don't be weird to say.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be a season-ending injury. It's weird to say that. I'm not worried about the next couple weeks. It used to be like the opposite, where like the Houston Texans would be coming, the Browns will just be like, "Oh yeah, that's an easy win. It is what it is."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So offensively, I guess the number one thing that we have to talk about, Anthony Schwartz. Who saw him? He had 5 targets today. 5 targets, 3 receptions, 69 yards. Who saw him being tied for the team lead in targets today? I certainly did. I saw like maybe 1 or 2 being more of like a decoy than anything.
Right.
I did not see him participating like he did today.
Totally agree. I thought it was going to be more of a decoy, maybe used for jet sweeps and all that stuff. But man, they threw him into the fire, and he answered. He made a few mistakes, like dropping that pass, but that was good defense overall. But he had a hell of a game, man. For a rookie in your first game with 1 preseason game and out for a lot of training camp, that was impressive to see. Browns look like they got a good one there. It's going to be fun to see him just grow in this offense because his speed. You could see it just early on there. If he can get single coverage, they'll go to him and he can beat one guy, and it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, I don't know if I honestly didn't really pay. Rashard Higgins didn't record a reception. Did he not play at all? I honestly wasn't really paying attention on that.
I didn't see him. I don't think he did.
So maybe that's why Schwartz received more playing time. But yeah, Higgins thing, I don't know what. There was no lead up to anything that was wrong with him. So I don't know what's wrong with that. I'm sure Stefanski was asked that post game. And then Donovan Peoples-Jones only had 1 catch for 4 yards, which was I think it was a crucial one. Yeah, it was a big one. It was like first a 3rd and 2. Yeah. Yep. So I mean, he had a big catch, but I feel when Odell comes back, like we talked about in the preview podcast earlier this week, it's just the Browns have so many playmakers to work with, and we haven't even discussed Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt yet.
Right. Yeah, OBJ is gonna allow it to expand even more. They'll be allowed to. We saw a lot of double tight ends, 3 tight ends even on the field. I think they can actually, once OBJ comes back, they can go the opposite way and see 3 or 4 receivers at a time on the field. It's gonna be fun. I think this offense, they have the talent to be able to match up whatever way they need. Like if they need a run play, if they need to go heavy, they can do that. If they need to go wide, 5 wide or 4 wide, they can do that. It's going to be fun to watch to see it develop, and I can't wait to see how Stefanski draws it up with OBJ when he comes back.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have for the first time in my lifetime, I have full faith in the Browns head coach and the Browns offensive coordinator that they'll be able to utilize all the talent that the Browns have. And yeah, like you said, I can't wait to see what they do with it, to be honest.
Yeah. And with his quarterback, let's go to Baker, man. This was the best game I've ever seen him play. In the first half.
Really?
First half.
In the first half.
He was clean. It was almost flawless in the first half. He made all the right decisions. He threatened the offense or threatened the defense on all levels. It was impressive to see. He really looked comfortable in what he was doing and knew where to go. It was fun to watch. I can't wait to see, we keep saying this. I can't wait to see this team develop and Baker develop even more. It's just fun, man. I can't wait for next week.
And next week I know they went up against the Jaguars, but they cannot take the Texans lightly.
No,
Tyrod Taylor's offense just put up I think they put up like 37 points today.
Yeah.
So
they're a veteran team. Someone was talking earlier. I can't remember who it was. Veteran teams, they'll play hard. You can't just show up against them, even though if they don't have the talent or anything like that, they'll show up. We've seen that with the Browns when they had like veteran teams under like Mangini and all that.
We've seen that like multiple times with the Browns.
Yeah, we've had the experience, but we just didn't have the talent. But they showed effort and all that. So yeah, it's not something they'll just show up to and try to win. But I think that loss might actually help them. I think they'll go in pretty mad. It might take it out on Houston.
Yeah. I feel like I should be very scared if I were I would be very scared if I were the Texans. It's the home opener in front of a sold-out crowd for the first time in a year and a half.
Yeah.
And they're going to go up against a very, very angry Browns team. So,
yeah.
Houston, you have a problem.
That's good. Yeah, we're already hearing it from the post-game press conferences. The players are not happy. So
let me guess, Baker probably said something along the lines of that he has a chip on his shoulder because he uses that so often. Part of me is like, heck yeah, Baker. Part of me is like, Baker, please get something new. We know you have a chip on your shoulder.
Hey, if it works, don't quit it.
Yeah, but speaking of Baker, I didn't realize that he did not have a passing 21 of 28 with 320 yards and not a touchdown. How is that even possible?
Yeah, there was never like a big play that got in the end zone, so they kind of in the red zone they definitely went run heavy, and when you got Chubb and Hunt, they'll take it all the way for you.
True. Yeah, it's just crazy that he completed 21 passes for 321 yards and not a single touchdown. All right, so we talked about the offense or the passing offense. Nick Chubb, 15 carries, 83 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt, 6 carries, 33 yards, and a touchdown. I actually thought that I thought the carries were more even than that. I'm surprised, 15 and 6. I think you can't really ask for more than that from the running game, especially in like a close game in Kansas City where you know the passing attack is going to have to win you the game late. I'm sure against like the Texans, knock on wood, they're going to have a lot more carries in that combined and a lot more yards. But yeah, I mean, they average 5.5 yards a carry. You can't really ask for much more than that outside of the fumble.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They were about to, like, with that fumble changed the game more than I think any play in the whole entire game. They were running right down their throats. They were going to be able to probably give them a lot more carries if they continued onto that drive. But yeah, the run game was stellar once again. They made short yardage plays look easy. It was another successful day with the run game, and nothing to worry about there. So I'm excited to see them get even more usage next week.
Honestly, besides the linebackers, I guess, because just like Ohio State, there's always been so many questions around the linebackers. There's not really much to worry about at any position group. Well, okay, special teams too. I forgot special teams.
Special teams is a big.
Yes, but it's the
Kicker even, oh
Browns.
my
It's the
gosh.
Browns, though. When hasn't there been a question about special teams?
Can we bring Phil Dawson back, please?
I wish.
I don't
He's
care
probably.
if I don't care if he's 50.
I yeah. I was that the. Yeah, it was an extra point that it hit off. Yeah, that it hit off the free. Hit off
It
the
was an
goalpost and
important
went
one
in
too, because they needed it to go to 2 possessions.
to go to
It was
9.
like, good
Yeah,
lord.
yeah.
Special teams is something to watch. Punter, we talked about it last year. Jamie Gillan was not good last year, and that was not a good start for him. Quite frankly,
Maybe his hands fell asleep because he wasn't used for the first 3 hours of the game.
Maybe
That's
I don't
the only
know.
excuse.
He was holding for kicks, so I don't know. That was just bad.
I know I don't want to harp on this, but I don't get. Obviously, I'm not in that situation either. A sold out crowd that's super loud, but he over panicked. It was like a rookie mistake. Like I don't get why he over panicked so much, and then he decided to run. Like I was like, oh, he just said get like out wide and then punt it. No, he was running for a first down at 4th and 13. Clearly, I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Clearly a guy who's never dropped a punt before and had no idea what to do because he looked like he was a fish out of water. He had no idea.
He definitely was saying in his head, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, the entire time.
Yeah, it was not good. Yeah. But yeah, so special teams is definitely the area of concern going out after this one.
Yes. And I wish there were real-time stats. We'll talk about Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney now in the defensive line. I wish there were real-time stats for quarterback pressures because I know the defensive line only had 2 sacks. Myles Garrett had that big one in the 4th quarter. But it seemed like Patrick Mahomes was moving in and outside of the pocket all day.
Yeah. The defensive line was – I thought they played better than I even expected. That just shows what sacks are. It's a quarterback stat sometimes because Mahomes got out of I don't know how many sacks of Miles. He had an innate ability of just knowing when to just step up a few steps more to avoid a rush, and it happened quite often. The defensive line played really well, I thought. McDowell was a monster in his first NFL game. First regular season NFL game, I thought he played really well. I have no concerns really of the defensive line. I can't really take a lot from this performance because they're playing the best offense in the league, and they're missing a lot of big pieces. They missed Ronnie Harrison for most of the game after that just stupid. Really, really stupid penalty.
It was a stupid penalty by him. But if you're going to throw him out, which he deserved to be thrown out, how do you not throw that coach out? I don't get it. Yeah. Like coach or not, imagine if LeBron. Okay, I'm not going to compare Ronnie Harrison to LeBron. Imagine if that happened in the NBA. Imagine if an assistant coach.
Oh, I know.
Got up and pushed a player. It would be absolute mayhem.
Yeah.
But yet in the NFL, they're just like, oh, it's an unnecessary roughness on the Kansas City's bench. Oh, and Ronnie Harrison, you're thrown out. Yeah. When he wasn't even the instigator, it was the Kansas City assistant that was the instigator. And you can tell Ronnie Harrison's son, I think it was Romo, said, oh, Ronnie Harrison stepped on the Chiefs player. No, he didn't. He was just trying to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like I'm not making excuses for Ronnie Harrison. He should have been thrown out.
Yeah.
But how do you not do anything with that assistant coach?
Yeah, that was bad. That was it. Just put the whole defense in a bind again. They with Grant Delpit inactive, that put MJ Stewart back on the field, which is not something that we want to see.
He did almost have an interception though. If he was about 2 inches taller, he has an interception.
If only. You know who is 2 inches taller than MJ Stewart? Ronnie Harrison. Well, that's true. But yeah, it's tough to take anything from this performance because they obviously missing 2 safeties. I don't think they could run what they wanted to really. Like they played a lot of base defense, which was just not good.
Don't do that. And I saw a former waiting for next year, and now OBR X's and O's guys, Jake Burns, literally, I forget the exact street, but he was like, "Get out of base defense."
Yeah.
Like, I guess when you're on your third string safety,
Yeah.
who's a very important part of the defense when you're going against Patrick Mahomes, it kind of changes things. But they didn't do like anything to like try to like trick the eyes of Mahomes at all.
No. Yeah, it just seemed like a defense that was learning still of how to play together and couldn't fully do what they wanted to do. So that's why a rematch would be fun to see. See what they actually can do when it's healthy.
In Cleveland, the same place.
Yes, in Cleveland. Yes. Yeah, it looked like a defense not as bad as last year where they completely out talented. This year it was just at key positions that to better face this offense, they didn't have the personnel today. So I'm not too down on them. The secondary looked good, I have to say.
Denzel Ward, I was just going to bring that up. Denzel Ward looked good today.
Denzel looked really good. Who freaking runs with Tyson with Hill, man? Like, seriously.
Yeah, that replay where he went. I mean, maybe it was defensive pass interference at the end, but he was running.
Yeah, stride for stride.
Right with Tyreek. Yeah, stride for stride. I was trying to think of the word.
No
stride
one does
for stride
that.
with him across the field.
Yeah,
no one does that. So I was very impressed with Denzel today. For absolutely.
Yeah. And we didn't hear Greg Newsom's or Greedy Williams' name really, like here's a reception given up, or a tackle downfield. Yeah, if you don't hear a quarterback's name, obviously if you hear an interception, that's good. But if you don't hear their name, that means they're doing well in coverage. And I thought they did well. And it was exciting to see this secondary play well. It's just the middle of the defense needs to get better. I'm hoping as JOK develops and learns and gets better that we can put him in the defense more and shuffle out some of these other guys like Mac Wilson and Malcolm Smith. But yeah, I'm okay with that performance. It's defense or offense where you're not gonna be successful very often, and I'm okay with it. And time is on their side, and they'll get better and get more healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's weird to say that the Browns secondary played well today when Mahomes was 27 of 36, 337 yards and 3 touchdowns. But I truly think that they did. You just can't stop Mahomes.
Right. Yeah. How many besides Tyreek Hill, I don't know of. Yeah, they didn't have a receiver over 20 yards.
Tyreek had 197.
Yeah. Well,
there's only so much you can do.
One of them was on what? One of the
75 yards. 75
one
yards.
Of the most Mahomes plays of all time. Yeah. Overall, I don't think they did too bad against Tyreek. It was just Kelsey that kind of just absolutely murdered them throughout the game, and that's something they'll have to improve on. And once they get the personnel, I think they can definitely improve on. So it's not like the special teams where I don't know if they have the options. The defense has the options and has the talent to get better. So I'm okay with that, and they'll get better.
Yeah, like we've been saying, there's plenty of things that they can improve on and work on ahead. And not even ahead going to week 2, just all season. Because just like Ohio State, as Ohio State, I don't just think of the Big Ten or their current opponent. I think of the big picture. As the Browns fan that I am now, which is weird to say, I'm not just worried about next week. I'm worried about the big picture, and the big picture I think is very, very positive.
Yep. Yeah. We're in a position where the big picture matters, and we're not in the game to game hoping, looking at the playoff predictor simulation, hoping that they can get in. We're in a big picture.
Wait, hold on. It wasn't a playoff predictor simulation. It was an NFL draft pick simulation. Come on, let's be honest.
We were using the playoff thing for maybe 4 weeks, and then we'll go to NFL draft. But yeah, it's definitely we're in a different position. Just looking at the big picture, and it's exciting to see. None of the we could talk about this maybe a little later. None of the other AFC North teams have looked good. Have looked great, really. Pittsburgh won. They beat Buffalo, which was an impressive win, but it was based on pretty much just a dominant performance by the defense, and we already knew that was
Pittsburgh's defense is very, very good.
Yeah,
and their offense is the offense just does what it does, and yeah. I was very surprised that Pittsburgh went into Buffalo. Although Buffalo, one of my buddies is a huge Steelers fan, and he was like, "If you're gonna blame the Steelers win on the Bills, then you have to blame the Chiefs win on the Browns." But I said it's different. Like the Bills, literally that 4th and 7. I don't know if any of you guys watched. Or no, 4th and 1. I don't know if any of you guys watched Bill Steelers game. 4th and 1. You have Josh Allen, who's a huge quarterback, and they did like a weird pass / pitch, and it was the loss of 7. I was like, that is literally the Freddie Kitchens' most play I think I've ever seen besides a 4th and 7 draw.
Yeah,
the Bills shot themselves in the foot rather than the Steelers actually winning that game. So, but like you have to give it up to the Steelers. They went into Buffalo and won a huge game, and then you have Cincinnati beat the Minnesota Vikings in overtime. I think it's safe to say
Minnesota's trash. Now we learned.
Whoa,
they're trash. I'm sorry.
Okay, hold on. Let's be honest. Kirk Cousins is trash. Wow. Minnesota's offense is pretty good if they had a decent quarterback.
If your quarterback is trash, you're pretty much trash. We learned that as a Cleveland Browns fan quite often. I think
as a fantasy football player, Adam Thielen had a pretty damn good game, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yes, thank you, Adam.
Yes, but yeah, so the AFC North as a whole, I think it's safe to say that they're the best division in football. So that'll not only prepare the Browns throughout the season, but it'll also be a freaking dogfight in all 6 AFC North games as well.
Yeah, we'll see with Baltimore tomorrow night. But yeah, it's shaping up to be a good division to get a lot of experience, a lot of different looks, because each team is kind of built differently. Cincinnati has a good secondary, really good explosive passing game, and then Pittsburgh is just a dominant defense. What
you have to say about Ben Roethlisberger's passing game? I want to hear it.
Noodle arm. Can we call it a noodle arm? But yeah, it's So it's one of those games. It'll be a good experience against Pittsburgh. They're a team where you can't make mistakes, and because they'll take advantage of it. So it'll be good tests when they play them. What I think is way down the line. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun division to fight. And we'll see tomorrow how good Baltimore is. With Lamar Jackson, they'll probably be pretty damn good.
With Lamar Jackson, who will somehow be their quarterback and running back all season.
Oh yeah, he's definitely leading the team in rushing easily now. Le'Veon Bell is not gonna. He's not from 4 years ago.
My favorite thing about Le'Veon Bell, and I know I said this in the WFMI Discord, was Adam Schefter tweeted the news out that the Baltimore Ravens signed Le'Veon Bell. And keep in mind, Le'Veon Bell hasn't played with the Steelers since 2017. And the picture Schefter used was of Bell in a Steelers jersey. And I said, that shows you how irrelevant Le'Veon Bell is.
Just shows you what happened the last 4 years or so of his career. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they play on offense. But they're another good defense, and yeah, the Browns they're gonna be in a division where defenses are gonna be tough. So it's gonna sharpen this offense even more going forward, which is always a positive.
Yeah, and looking at the big picture, like I said before, it's a good thing, I guess, that the AFC North is very good because it'll give the Browns plenty of experience against good teams, but it also stinks because for 6 games out of the 17 that you play, you're in a dogfight, and then you have division like the NFC East, right?
Oh my God!
Washington, Philadelphia, Dallas, and I'm missing one.
New York.
Yeah, imagine if the Browns were in that division.
Yeah,
Like that was the division where like the team
we
went 8-8
would
and won it.
Yeah, we would be resting our starters in like week 15.
Yeah, exactly. So like being in a good division has its positives, but it also has plenty of negatives as well. So yeah, but going back to Browns Kansas City, since we're here to recap that game, Browns lost by 4 in one of the toughest environments in the NFL. They should have won. I know it's cliche. The Browns should have won and they lost.
It's true. It's true.
But without self-inflicted mistakes, they win that game.
Yeah.
In the first half, even if you just throw away the second half, I know also a game has 2 halves. There's a reason a game has 2 halves. But that first half, man.
Yeah. So good.
That's why I'm so excited about this offense. And it's without Odell Beckham, and for 3/4 of the game it was without their left tackle.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun, man. I can't wait. I can't wait to just see how they keep developing, keep improving. We saw a rookie just absolutely have a really freaking good game for his first time on the field in a regular season game. It was a fun game. Like, how many times did we say a loss was a fun game? That was a really fun game. And it really, if you like look at it, it doesn't matter going forward. It was a game, a loss, and you just move on, and you got 16 more games to go. It was more of a measuring stick than anything else, and they measured up. They measured that they can compete with the best.
I'm all about cliches tonight. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's true.
Don't judge this Browns team because of the record. Judge it on their performance.
Mm-hmm.
I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In that first half, man, if they can play like that, even if it's 85 to 90% of what they did, Baker was threading the needle, throwing lasers. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I mean, if they're both fresh in the fourth quarter and you had the lead, good luck. Although today, I guess they did have the lead in the fourth quarter, so I take that back. But yeah, this offense, even if you have plenty of questions about the defense, it's hard to find something bad about the offense. And like we said in the preview, the biggest question mark offensively is Baker Mayfield, and that shows you how good this offense is and can be.
And he's not a question mark in my eyes, but yeah.
Although I made the mistake of scrolling through Twitter, which is something you should never do after a Browns loss.
No.
And you would have thought that Baker Mayfield was the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. Twitter, don't do it. After a loss,
ever.
Twitter after a loss.
No. You don't even have to say after a loss. Just Twitter. Don't do it. Just if you don't have Twitter now, don't download it. I promise you, you're better off that way.
You'll be
it's so toxic.
Yeah, it was amazing to see all those kind of comments. It's like they're watching. I don't know what the hell they're watching. Quite frankly,
and then you had that Scottish Hammer play, and oh my god, same old Browns, come on, get a new one.
I know. I saw. Yeah, Brownsying. Like, no, please don't. No. We're not the 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Just keep going. You literally could have started that. You literally could have just named off 20 straight years.
Except for 2003 or whatever. But yeah, just stop with that crap. And it just the game showed that this is a new team that we've never seen before in Cleveland since their return. And I can't wait. I just can't wait for the rest of the season start.
Yeah, you kind of already did it, but any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I can't wait for next week. Gonna be there at home opener.
All right, weird flex, but okay.
So you take it over here. No, it's just I can't wait to just be back with the whole fans, and it's gonna be an electric atmosphere. I thought 2 years ago when coming on in Freddie Kitchens' year, that opening game was
wait
that atmosphere.
We deleted that season that season didn't happen.
That's true. But yeah, that atmosphere was amazing, and I can't imagine jumping in the next week and seeing the fans there. It's gonna be fun
Against the Fighting Tyrod Taylors.
The Fighting Tyrod Taylors, who had a really good game, I have to say. But yeah, the Browns are gonna be coming quite pissed off probably, and I can't wait to see how they respond. It's another test. It's going to be a season of tests of how to get better and all that, and rebounding from this kind of really, really bad, not a bad loss, but like disappointing loss. It'll be important to see how they respond, and I can't wait to see it. And hopefully, offense and defenses get healthy, getting Jedrick back. Hopefully, maybe Grant Delpit gets back. And we'll see even better performance, which is kind of hard to see, hard to imagine, but they can definitely get better.
Yes, like I said, they played so well, but they also played bad enough, especially in the second half, where there's so much to learn from. And that's, I mean, I know it's cliche, like, because I'm all about cliches this 45 minutes. Man. It's a good. Wait, who said it? Tyronn Lue. It's wins and lessons. Today was a lesson. Today was absolutely. I think it was Ty. It was, if it's wins and lessons, today's a lesson. But there's so much to look forward to, because if they just from the first half, the second half, all right, they struggled, especially offensively, especially special teams. But that first half, if you play like that. All right, I'm not going to say anything else.
You're not
you
losing
play like
a lot
that,
of games.
Yeah, you're not losing a lot of games. That's a good way to put it. I won't jinx anything else.
You're just going to be like the Kansas City Chiefs, where your margin of error is quite big because most teams can't match up to it. So
it'll be, hey, you can't go for field goals against the Browns because they're going to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
All right, so Browns lost to Kansas City at Kansas City in Arrowhead.
Oh, we're in last place. Oh, my God.
33-29. Although, you have to admit, if the Browns were in first place, you know that someone would have put a screenshot of that Browns in first place. But besides that, so, yeah, Josh and Joe, Browns Instant Insights podcast edition. We'll be back next week, 1 o'clock start, but Joe is going to the game, so it'll be a little bit after the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, just make sure you subscribe, waiting for next year on YouTube. Like our page on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, even though we said don't ever use Twitter. It's bad. It's very, very bad. But if you use Twitter, please follow us, WFMICLE on Twitter. Yeah, and thanks for joining us. I have nothing else to say. I have a smile on my face, even though the Browns are 0-1, because they showed plenty of promise today. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys.
See ya.